You're welcome to today's episode of The Human Angle. It's a new week and a new day to make the start of something wonderful. According to the International Labour Organization, the world of work has been devastated by the COVID-19 pandemic. From developed to developing economies, millions of workers across the globe have either lost their jobs or have been furloughed. Countries like Nigeria will also be affected by this development as several companies and organizations have and will explore right-sizing their operations. On today's episode, we'll be engaging Mr. Timothy Osahon, an HR expert on the topic positioning for employment in uncertain times. Mr. Timothy Osahon, thank you very much for joining us on the program today. It's great to have you with us.
Thank you very much.
Yes. So in the first half of the year, we've seen the COVID-19 pandemic devastate various economies and sectors of the world, including the world of work. First, I'd like you to just share with us how it has been with the pandemic, how the pandemic has actually redefined the jobs market and the future of work.
Actually, it has affected a lot of people. I have in different sectors. It has hit, and them to are anxiously looking at how to gain their ground back in the labor market. You have those who finished from their university last year, 2019. They are trying to feature in the future of the labor market in 2020. They are currently nowhere to actually find their ground. And even you have those who are even supposed to finish too in 2020. All these make up the bulk of the unemployment rate that is actually affecting not only Nigeria, but you have the entire globe, the entire world.
Yes. But then...
So, this is actually,
Okay, no, please continue, sir.
Yeah, I'm with you. Okay, so this is actually why it is actually wise and reasonable for anyone who is actually trying to find their ground into this challenging, uncertain time to position themselves for employment. There are different factors that one can actually consider to be able to help them to gain their ground in this. So, and that is why we are looking at different ways to assist people to be able to leverage, their ground and improve their job prospects in this uncertain time. There are different factors that they may want to consider. First and foremost, people need to stay calm. There is this statement of strength. I pick from Brian Tracy. He said that between you and every goal that you wish to achieve is a series of obstacles. And the bigger the goal, the bigger the obstacles. So this pandemic we are currently experiencing is one of those obstacles that has affected many in achieving their focus for the year. So, for one thing first, people need those who are actually faced with this, being laid off from work and even trying to penetrate the labor market, need to focus on what, they want to do instead of stressing about the circumstances that are simply out of their control. Okay, so it has actually been observed that when people are in the panic, my feelings of desperation, so one needs to be focused first. And after that, the next thing anyone wants to consider is you need time to reflect. You need to consider first. People need to consider if they are actually happy in their most recent role. What does their ideal job look like? A lot of people now, because of that panic and chaotic situation, they just want any job. Personally, as an individual, I post a lot of jobs on LinkedIn, on my WhatsApp status, so that everyone out there can actually have opportunity to apply for any of these job roles. But maybe, when I ask, because they come up to me and ask that they need a job. So when I ask, what type of job do you actually need? They say any type of job. You cannot just tell yourself any type of job. You need time to reflect what you actually want to do. Are you leveraging on your strongest skill set? If money weren't a factor, what would you like to be doing? So these are things that they actually need to consider. Another factor, I think people can actually leverage on by positioning themselves for employment in this uncertain time is preparing their resume. Looking for a job can actually seem like a daunting, task. So one actually need to update his CV and then need to track follow-ups and also try to make past experience applicable to the job market. There are some skills that I always tell some who are actually looking for a job is that Excel is one paramount skill that they need to have. Is irrespective of the job type that you are engaging, you carry out a task, you need to analyze what you have done. There's a saying that whatever cannot be measured, you can improve it. So Excel is one tool that many organizations today are actually using. They must have skill to stay competitive in today's world. Another one is managerial skill. Managerial skill is key for everyone. Employers are actually looking at those with leadership skill, irrespective of the different positions you have. Developing a leadership skill or managerial skill can actually position you for that too. Employers know that managerial skills, it make up for a most effective leader. So skills like how to provide, problem solving skills, um, people taking a course on business leadership, how to develop managerial competencies. This can equip one to build their managerial or management skills and even motivate team and much more. You also have what we refer to as data analysis. Okay, so one can also consider skills in data analytics, which also helps to evaluate and interpret previous and current data into useful charts, trends, full presentation. It helps businesses to arrive on better business decisions and even action. So it also correlates with the Excel I was talking about then. Another skill, I also recommend to people is basic coding skills. Is another skill that can help one to stay attractive in this job market as more workplaces become dependent on technology. So even if you are in marketing, it helps you communicate projects, feedback with developers. You also have a marketing. This new digital landscape that we have now, it has all businesses, if not all, if not almost all businesses, going online to reach their clients. So one trying to position himself for employment in this uncertain time need to try to learn how to effectively reach a targeted audience through adverts on Facebook, WhatsApp, Google, YouTube, and much more. So these, are just a few skills that I feel that people actually need to on themselves to be able to position themselves for employment in these uncertain times.
Thank you very much, Mr. So I would like us to go a little bit into, you spoke about people actually applying for jobs just because they need a job. Ideally, what exactly do you think should be the ideology, one, two? And then what should people do to follow the line that they have interest in, irrespective of the fact that there are employment crisis in the country?
Okay. I mentioned earlier that everyone, because it is a necessity now that you need to work to be able to take care of yourself and your friends
Yes.
and family. So as a result, even those who are skilled want any menial job, okay, just because they need to meet ends meet. Now, one
Yes.
of the things I advise on is take a look at one CV. You want to, there is one software now that many organizations are actually using, which is the applicant tracking system, like a software where they input the different skills required. So once one submits a CV, this software sifts out the key parameters that the recruiter has actually imputed into that. So it sifts out those who have that skills in their CV. So, one of the things that can actually help people leverage on being noticed or TV right into the desk of or into the hand of the recruiter is one, they want to make sure that that applicant tracking system can actually read their resume. They need to ensure that their resume is saved in the right format. Not all these softwares can actually read in Word document. So they can actually submit their resume in PDF. Another one is things that has to do with age, sex, state of origin, marital status are not required. They're not important, for one
Okay.
to have on their CV. Also, keywords I mentioned earlier that can actually help people to redesign their CV in such a way that it gets to the right recruiter. These, in some job adverts, you have things that has to do with job description, which is embedded to the advert or job advert. These job descriptions notice some, certain keywords that come up over and over. There may also be some certain terminology that is the work of their profession. So they want to utilize these keywords in context on their resume. So once they do this, it will also help the applicant tracking system or even the recruiter itself to be able to identify that this person has actually done that. Though it's actually very important not to add words when you have not actually experienced or carried out that task before. So one of the things I tell people to is the LinkedIn application. People need to regularly update their LinkedIn profile, given that we will be social distancing to some extent for the foreseeable future. Much of networking will likely take place online. So if one is not particularly active on LinkedIn, now is a great time for them to update their profile and start engaging. It's surprising to know some couple of interviews I conducted some time ago. Some of these candidates, they send in their CVs, but they are not actually present online. You search for their name and then their information on LinkedIn, they are nowhere to be found. So one may want to consider writing an article, sharing relevant content, or even commenting on posts from other people on LinkedIn. It helps them to regularly keep active and also update their LinkedIn profile. They want to also try to reach out to their network. It has been observed that the most effective way to land interviews and job offers is through personal connections. So there's nothing to be embarrassed about if one has lost his or her job recently. You just have to reach out to your network on LinkedIn. They need to take advantage of the time that they have available to reconnect with some of their friends on LinkedIn, some of their past
Social
colleagues.
media platforms.
Yes, instead of isolating themselves. So doing so will make them happier and they will never know what opportunity they may be able to connect with there. And even if they are currently
Just by triggering a
employed,
conversation with somebody.
yes, even if they are currently employed, there's no harm in being proactive. They can still, keep their, connection, updated. It is also very important to note that one's network is one's net worth. And over 80% of all jobs today are gotten via referral. So if you keep, in touch with their networks, it also helps to land a job when the opportunity comes up.
All right, thank you, Mr. Osahon. But I'd like us to look
One
at
other
a
key
little.
point.
Okay, okay.
Okay.
No, I'm
One
listening
other
to
key
you.
point I also like to add. One other
Okay.
key point I also like to add is the internship role. Okay,
Okay.
for new entrants into the labor market, some feel they need a gold mine job. Yes, it's possible they get that, but they can also start from an internship route to
Internship.
helps them to penetrate into that interested organization that they want.
Or, or even
It can either be paid,
volunteering.
yes, it can either be paid internship, low pay internship, or even unpaid internship. Okay, so even when there are not mass layoff going on, getting an internship after one graduated, can be a very strategic move for one's career. So not to talk of now that you have a lot of layoff
Yeah.
here and there. So they can start by applying for an internship role.
Internships.
Once they're able to get into that organization and they can prove themselves, that they have that skill required and they are able to learn on the job. Most organizations actually retain such staff. It also helps them to grow
Exactly.
in that career path. At the end of the day, experience is what will set them apart in the current
Yeah.
job market because it gives them the ability to develop their skills and also show how they've made or save an organization money. That is something that every employer will want to hear when they
Yeah.
also interview with.
And even in terms of interning or volunteering, you have the opportunity to choose where exactly you want to work and not just accept what comes to you.
Exactly. Exactly.
All right, Mr. Osahon, let's move over. We've seen the COVID-19 has brought about remote working for a lot of companies. Now, as an HR expert, what exactly can you say are the gains and challenges of remote working for these companies?
Actually, different organizations have different, will I say, requirements or different needs as it relates, or different gains and challenges as it relates to remote working. For some organizations who actually carry out online sales, so if their staff actually work from home, they will still be able to track sales record. For organizations who are actually manufacturing products, it will be required that they need their manpower on ground in the factory setting.
Yeah.
All right. So the pros and the cons, or the gains and the challenges of remote working, for different organizations varies. Now, if we look at the gains in itself, for those who are at home, when their offices are shut down, apart from the fact that whether they like it or not, if it's a rented apartment or a rented building, they will need to pay overheads.
Yeah.
Whether you use your lightning or not, the electricity, you need to actually pay for that, since most organizations or most places, some run on postpaid. Okay,
Yeah.
so if they are actually out of the office, the rate at which they spend, the expenditures, the expenses reduces because some of the staffs are actually working from home.
Oh.
That's one of the benefits. But one of the challenges from an HR perspective is ability to be able to manage performance. So someone may
Exactly.
actually tell you she's working, whereas she's engaged in his own personal businesses. All right. This, we actually have different tools that HR experts can actually use to be able to track performance when it also comes to um, that is set in such a way that these employees, when you hold meetings with them, probably through Zoom meeting or other
Video
online
online
meetings, you let them recount what are some of the things they are going to do this week. What did they do last week? That helps you to be able to keep track of performance and then be able to also guide them accordingly. When it also comes to organizations who requires their staff on ground, they need to ensure, constant monitoring on a face-to-face level. So in that aspect, when it also comes to training them, you find out that developing manpower in this period of remote working, for organizations who have their staff on ground, they still have challenges and limitations in even deploying classroom trainings where they put their staff together. All right, so we are trying to ensure social distancing. So putting all the manpowers, in large quantity, about 20-25, may not be appropriate for some organization. So so as it is now, online classes or online courses, coaching and mentoring is one of the things that line managers and heads of departments, in different organizations are actually exploring. Yeah, so even those that are actually at home too, managing them based on their performance and areas of improvement in terms of coaching and mentoring and even training, online training is what most organizations are actually exploring now. So I feel there are still some other factors that, as
So
the
yeah.
lockdown and the pandemic start easing off, we start
Yeah.
to evolve.
Yes.
And we can
Hmm.
continue to improve both ourselves and the manpower at large.
But post the pandemic and COVID-19 period, would you advise more remote working for companies?
Uh, a lot of benefits can actually be derived from remote working. for organizations that it pays or they can actually adjust to that. I'll give you an example. For organizations who actually run microfinance banking, majority of them are moving their services online now, whereby customers out there can actually go to their website, upload all their documents, and then they have access to fund. You have organizations who, before now, actually have call center arrangements. Okay, some of their staff actually picks customer calls right from their house. So instead of coming to the office. So this is another style of remote working that also helps them. So they can also keep track. So they'll just log on to a particular software which they log on to in their normal working environment. They'll log on to it at home and then they can attend to any of their customers. So even if those who also carry out online sales, uh, I spoke, I talked about the microfinance banking earlier on. That is why you heard recently that one of the microfinance, if not some of them, laid off their staff because the opportunity for them to go out into the field to sell, get customers have reduced. So they don't have access to go because of the lockdown and the pandemic at large. So all these help, caused the reason why you have laid off of employment or staff in some organizations. So a lot of them are leveraging on technology. That is why for one to be able to feature in the nearest future of positioning oneself for employment in this uncertain time, e-learning courses or some practical sessions or personal development on how one can learn some of these key softwares and technology will help them to position themselves so that when they eventually meet a recruiter or an interviewer, they will be able to convince and persuade them that they are the candidate for the job.
And even those who are employed to avoid being laid off, because the truth about it is, to just give an example of microfinance banking, those that were laid off are most likely marketers that couldn't go out anymore to search for clients. And a good way would have been to have topped up their games on digital marketing and started seeking for customers online.
Exactly.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. So we really need to go now, but I'd just like you to ask, there's a place of work-life balance in everybody's life, really, and especially with the pandemic allowing people work from home these days. What exactly do you think every individual can do to ensure a work-life balance even while working from home?
One thing that is there is this pandemic era has actually changed a lot of things.
Yes.
People who are used to leaving the house 4 or 5 a.m. and getting home at 9, 10 p.m.
Yes.
Have now found themselves sitting at home and working from home. So they are used to they are used to the challenges, okay, of traffic and what factors like that.
Encounter challenges,
Some of
yes.
those challenges now is no longer there. It's part of their lifestyle. But as at now, they actually have to stay glued to their work. Now, for them to be able to find work-life balance around it, it has been recommended that they need to space their work. They need to give themselves timing. Now, for some, it has been recommended that they set up a particular place in their house and then they visualize the place as an office setting. Now, if you are going to work. As you are working, once it's time for you to go for break, you leave that particular environment and then go for your break. Once it's time for you to come back to work, you continue your work. Once you have closed, and then you can, associate back with your friends and family. It is challenging for some who actually have kids and friends and family around, but it's something they can actually commit to. And people should not work. At the end of the day, they leave their families, at arm's length. They need to socialize. This is another opportunity for people to also, ensure team bonding with their family, and also increase all the other activities like exercise, and probably doing house chores together. So these are, different things that people can actually explore while, still carry out their tasks in this remote working situation.
All right. Thank you so much for coming on the program, Mr. Timothy. It's great having you to discuss and gain insights on the subject matter. I'll be looking forward to having you again on the program.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. All right. You can send in your videos and pictures and comments to news@poshareng.com or programs@poshareng.com and let's share your experience and views. Visit our website www.poshareng.com to get more updates from our news stories and videos. You can also follow our social media platforms showing on the screen for further updates on our market reports. Currently on Nigeria's COVID-19 cases, there are 24,567 confirmed cases, 9,007 cases discharged, and 565 deaths. So please keep staying safe, take responsibility in preventing the spread of the virus, and ensure you continue following all the safety measures and guidelines as advised by the NCDC and WHO. So we'll come your way again tomorrow. Thank you for watching, and bye for now.